And what makes District 10 so popular, so sought after? So for CCR, of course the CCR is made up of District 9, 10, 11, District 2, District 1, District 2. But today I've decided to focus one episode solely on District 10 CCR launches, but not to worry for those of you that came in thinking or hoping that I review something from District 9, District 11. We'll do that next month, okay? But for those of you who are already itching to buy already and really hope to get some feedback, right? Feel free to drop me a text. Happy to have that call. But don't call me while you're on the way there to put a check. I just had a call like that 2-3 weeks back. Because why? You're already in the mood already, and it's like one foot through the door already. That is also a bit hard for me to go and like pull you back, and moral dilemma and everything like that, right? Before you decide on it, if you just have that thought in place, that's the best time to have that chat and to make sure, and when you are more on a more even keel, so to speak. Okay? And so why I'm focusing on District 10 is because District 10 already have a good number of launches for us to talk about. So one episode already cannot say finish. So and I don't want to sort of dilute and just skim past them too quickly. Today's episode just on District 10. So before we get started on that, the launches I've picked were the launches requested by the viewers, right? Some of you texted me to ask me to review some of these projects So which is why we are talking about these projects, right? But first of all, right, some background. District 10, for those of you who don't know, all of us confirm know District 10, but what most of us may not know is just actually how big District 10 is. District 10 is one of the bigger districts. Of course, not District 19 big, but District 10 is actually much bigger than District 9, right, which is just Orchard, the Orchard area. It's bigger than District 11, Newton Novena. It's also bigger than District 3, Queenstown, Tiong Bahru. So District 10 is quite a big district, covering, if you look at the Singapore map, right, all the way from Tanglin all the way down to Bukit Timah, stopping only at Upper Bukit Timah. So that's like how long it is. Bukit Timah Road is one of the longest roads in Singapore. And then on the southern side is from all the way above Queenstown, right? Then stretching all the way up to Novena, Newton Novena side. So huge area, District 10. So the sub-areas within District 10, right, we have Ardmore, right? District 10 already. Hello, sorry to interrupt. We'd like to take the opportunity to thank you for watching the video, and also to share why we do what we do. Is to empower consumers with hard facts and figures, quality research and real-life examples to allow them to make the most informed property decisions. So if you found our videos useful, the only thing we ask for is for you to smash that like and subscribe button so that the YouTube algorithm can push out our videos to more consumers. Thank you, and back to the video. You're gonna hear basically it's the most atas of areas already, right? Ardmore, Balmoral, Bukit Timah, Holland Village, Tanglin. Okay? And what makes District 10 so popular, so sought after, is because of the prestige factor attached to it, right? You tell anyone you stay District 10, bragging rights, okay? Flex, bragging rights. And then of course, second part is schools. For those of you who follow us and watch us, right, I think it was at our Live at MB review that we sort of coined this term, right, called where there's money, right, money tends to stick within that area, and when there's an area of high affluence, and when people grow up in areas like that, they tend to want to move back into those areas. So then it just sort of creates this little ecosystem over there. And there's And it's another thing another way to say is that there's only certain areas in Singapore whereby if you ask anybody, it's like if money is out of the question, where would you like to go and stay, right? A couple of areas in Singapore that you will hear people say that kind of thing one lah. District 10 being one, District 15 East Coast area being another of those areas, okay? And most likely these names, these road names, these sub-areas will come into play. So District 10 really just has that prestige, history, and also accumulated wealth, accumulated affluence. District 10 is also where a lot of the old money is like generational kind of money, whereby great-great-great-great-grandsons still have the money to spend from their great-great-great-great-grandpa one, okay? And before we dive into the launches, I thought we could dive a little bit into the price trends of the District 10 area, comparing new and resale price trends, okay? And what is the thing that I take away from these particular trends, okay? So we can see, I've given you the 5-year trend and also the 10-year trend, and let's talk about what's so interesting about these trends and what are the takeaways that we can have. Interesting parts, okay? Notice how in the period of 2018 to 2019, we have seen CCR launches trading consistently above the 3,000 PSF mark, okay? It's not often that you see new launch price trends go like that, whereby they set sort of a high water mark. After that, they then come down to here. Okay, now why is that happening? A lot of the times, the launches over here were snapped up by owner occupiers paying top dollar to get higher floor. So if you do look into, probably not an excellent example, but one of the best examples I have for this is Avenir over at River Valley. We won't be talking about it today. It's River Valley District 11. The sales chart, right, comes from most expensive to cheapest one, right? So and those were launched. Avenir wasn't launched then, but it's one good example, and that's also a period where we had a lot of ultra luxury launches. Okay. So District 10 set high water mark. After that, prices didn't drop. So note this, when you look at new launch price trends, right, this trend going like that, right, doesn't mean they cut price. It just means the expensive units got sold, then the balance units are trading at this sort of prices. It's not that developer give discount and drop the price. We have hardly seen this happen, not to say never, but hardly seen this happening. Okay, another thing that you want to take a look at is how the gap, right? So with launches over here doing trading at 3,000, 3x, right? That gap between new and resale is very big, and notice how that gap is now narrowing significantly, right? In some cases, 2008 to 2004. Wow, 2008 to 2004 may sound like a lot, okay? Do also remember, especially in District 10, something very important to take note of is the old supply in District 10 tends to be very, very big in terms of the floor area. Later on, I will show you some examples of this, but it's very, very easy to find 3-bedders in District 10 that were built, let's say 20 years ago, that come in at 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 square feet. And to put things into perspective, you have a 2,000 square feet unit transacting at $2.4 million, also 3-bedroom. Okay, that is going to be $4.8 million. Okay, then you have, yes, 3,000 PSF or maybe 2,008, let's just say 3,000 PSF, but today 3,000 PSF at 1,000 square feet, you can get a brand new 3-bedroom, right? So because of the segregation of the product segregation in the CCR, especially in District 10, District 11, District 9, simply looking at PSFs is not what I would suggest, right? It may sort of It just doesn't give you the full picture lah. And why this is not so much the case in the OCR, right? It's because in OCR or even in the RCR, a lot of the supply is quite homogeneous throughout. You get a 20-year-old 3-bedder. Yes, it probably would be bigger, but the size difference is not as drastic as what you will see in the CCR and especially District 10. All right. Next up, right, because this one, right, the price I only dragged until 2018, which is sort of the end of the CCR winter. So now let's take a look at the price trends during the CCR winter, right, dragging 10 years back. So once you go 10 years back, right, you can see how interesting the trend starts to look, right? What's interesting about it? Do note the growth rate. Actually, if I push this out, notice the growth rate below in resale actually beats out the growth rate of the increment in, let me draw that, this part, beats out the growth rate of the increment in the new developments because high watermark set over here. This high watermark concept very interesting, and it's something that you should and can keep in mind if you really want to make your evaluation of new launches or purchases more robust. I think also together with the fact that simply looking at PSS is not sufficient in the CCR area, okay? So, notice last time the gap between new and resale is so narrow. Last time, so narrow. But in what circumstance and why would it be so narrow? I believe would be the low supply of new developments during that. Either an oversupply, I would think so more like an oversupply of new developments during that period. But another thing that you do notice is that the resale trends is very healthy and tracks the new trends very well. And it's going up sort of independent of the new development price trends. So do note, today you buy a new development, after that you sort of, your data points start to then come down and track the resale prices, okay? That is one thing that I look at. Will we reach a point whereby this gap narrows down again? I think it's going to be tough. But probably now it's sort of the closest time we're gonna see in this narrowing, because the CCR new supply is still quite a decent amount of CCR new supply for us to choose from and resale is catching up very quickly. The next thing to take note of is that why is this gap so narrow? It's also because the product differentiation for the new and the old is not there. At that point in time, they all still are all built around the same sizes, so it's direct competition. So in that sense, right, once the gap is too big, a lot of the time they will narrow, because if I pick a new one, yes, it's going to be the same size, but if it's going to be so much more expensive, I might as well buy the old one. But right now, that gap is opening up, and will it continue to open up? Probably, but will the resales catch up? I think yes. It's because the product difference is quite a fair bit. The developers can pull the new PSF a lot higher because now they are building smaller and smaller units. The resale one will take a while to catch up, but I feel this resale will catch up pretty quickly once these new ones start to transact in the resale market. So lots of opportunity in the CCR. Something is a very exciting place to be in right now. Probably not so much 1 to 2 years back. But now that the OCR basically has been, the opportunities in the OCR, RCR has been taken up, CCR is another place. But like I said before, okay, it requires a lot more research, a lot more know-how to understand the intricacies involved in investing in the CCR. Yeah.